Hi, I'm Gene Cavassis. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to build a jazz bass kit and then customize it. And in this one, I customized this one to look like a 1960 Corvette Stingray. So stay tuned.
Now this jazz bass kit is made by A Moon, and I picked it up from TomTop.com, and I paid right around $75 with free shipping, and I'll put a link to this below.
So let's get started. This bass guitar neck fits very snug into the body, so I feel very good about that. So I'm going to flip it over, and now using the base plate, I'm going to use that as a template to mark where the holes need to be drilled. Okay, now that you've marked the holes, using a cordless drill with a level on top, I'll pre-drill the 4 holes. Now that we have the 4 holes drilled, we can now take the neck, set it down, and clamp it into place. We'll mark the depth and go ahead and drill those holes.
And with the screws that came with the kit, go ahead and secure the neck. And that's a nice snug fit.
Okay, we want to figure out the scale length of the neck. So measuring from the nut to the 12th fret, and on this guitar that's 17 inches. Doubling that length, we know that the bridge has to set at 34 inches.
Dan Thompson with Guns and Guitars has a great video on how to properly locate and install the bridge on a jazz bass, and I'll put a link in the description below.
Once you've set that line, your bridge is going to be basically centered on it, or where the adjustment truss is for the bridge. Now I'm going to start building the custom pick guard. Now, using some old computer paper I've had forever, and glad to know I found a use for it, I'm going to start copying that beautiful side sculptures on the 60 Corvette. Taking scissors and using this as a template, I'm going to cut it out and then use it to basically trace onto the pick guard material.
For the pick guard material, I ordered this from Amazon, and I'll put a link below. To trace around the material, I'm using a Stabilo water-based grease pencil.
So now we're going to decide where the holes go all the way around the pick guard. And kind of judging off of the original pick guard that it comes with, I set these at basically the same length. Using the drill press and a countersink bit, I came around and pre-drilled all the holes on the pick guard. Now it's time to look at the headstock. Now, I wanted to do something special, and I ended up doing something relatively simple, and that's cutting just a slanted top. Give it a little sand to smooth off all the edges. I know this looks basically simple, and I'm going to mask out the edging because I want to leave the wood basically the natural color on the edges, but I will paint the top red to match the body of the guitar. Using some of the scrap from the pick guard, I also cut a plate that will go around the headstock. Now, I'm going to want to make a curve on this headstock so that it fits naturally into the body. So using a heat gun, I'll throw a little heat. It's hot. This allows you to form that in and makes a nice curve to it. This will help cover the tension rod. Now I'm going to do the water slide decals. Now I'll put a link up in the top to a video I have on doing full water slide decals. So I will not go deep into production or how we do these, but it's a very simple process. Now, take your time sanding the body, and I've got a full video on painting the guitar body, and I'll put a link in the top as well. Now you're going to want to drill a hole, because it didn't come with this, in the body for the ground wire that will go under the bridge. Just make sure you don't drill all the way through the body like I somehow managed to do. I cannot believe I did that. I thought I had that the right angle. So, a little body putty and a little sanding and a little more primer, and I will re-drill this and get it correct. You'll want to spray the body down, and there's also a link to the whole how to finish the guitar body at the top. Now, looking at the instructions that this guitar kit actually came with, they're useless. So now we're going to start setting the tuning keys into the guitar, and you'll want to set them in and make sure they're straight. And I used a punch to mark where the holes go, and then came back with the drill and marking with some tape for the depth. I pre-drilled all the holes. Now I'm going to come back and screw down each of the tuning keys. And I think we look good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount that cover that I made for the truss rod. And once again, I'm going to pre-punch or mark the holes. Pre-drill them. And now we can go ahead and set the cover for the truss rod on top. I'm pretty happy with how that part of the neck has turned out. So let's move this out of the way and move on to the body. I'm really happy also how the body has turned out on the guitar and the neck as well. So we're ready to bolt the neck down. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. Everything's good and tight, fit. I'm going to feed that ground wire I was telling you about that will go and fit underneath the bridge. Now the wire will get fed under to the bridge and then also to the adjustment knobs. I'm going to use some candle wax to put on the edge of all the screws that I set the bridge down that were pre-drilled before finishing the body. This is something that a viewer had written into me, and I tried this out and it works fantastic and I really appreciate it. Now the pickups, I had no idea because nothing in the instructions said which is the front and which is the back pickup. So I found out that the longer of the two is the bridge or the back pickup. So measuring these out, I can see that the first one was the longer of the two pickups. Or here's the thought, just put them back to back, you can kind of see. So we know the taller one will fit to the back. So now we're going to set these down and make sure that the new pick guard will fit over everything, and if you have to do any sanding or filing to adjust, but it looks like we're in good shape on this. So now I'm going to set each of the pickups in and go ahead and drill their mounting holes down through the body. Make sure you don't drill too deep, so you may want to pre-mark your depth. A lot of times I just use a drill bit and some tape. Feeding all your wires through. Now I set the springs on the screws, which is a little tricky. So now you set those down, and then you're able to just screw down the pickup straight into the body of the guitar. Now, I always use a rag when I start to solder. I had no idea what the wiring diagram was, so I downloaded one from online. You can find all kinds of those. And just follow those directions, and everything seemed to fit real well. And I'm not a great solderer, but this one worked out fine. So I'm going to come back now and set that pick guard back on. Make sure everything's straight and where it should be. And I'm going to come around and pre-drill the holes for the pick guard. And once again, using a little bit of candle wax helps setting all these screws. Setting the nut up in the neck, first thing I realized is it was a little too wide. So I'm going to just shave the edging off of it, and I just used some 220 sandpaper and ran this back and forth until it thinned down enough. I finally had it thin enough to set in to the top of the neck without even using any glue. It's holding in there just fine. Now I'm using the original strings that came with the guitar kit, the same way as the pickups and everything else. Make sure or try out all the parts first, but you can always hot rod this kit, and I most likely will come back later and add some higher end features to the guitar. After stringing all 4 strings through the bridge, I'm going to move these out of the way, and now coming 2 pegs above where it fits, I trim the wire back. Fit this in. Start to wind these strings down, and you're not going for tune, you're just going for tight enough. Once again, I'm going 2 pegs above and trimming my wire. Once I have that, the guitar did come with a string tree for the two lower strings, so I'm going to set that in so they're close to level with the two top strings. I want to give a special thanks to my friend L. McGuffey for his great bass riffs and helping me out with the video. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, if you have any ideas or suggestions. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.